Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Emily. Today is another reading vlog, and this starts the new type of reading vlog and reviewing that I want to start trialing on my channel. I'm not loving doing end of the month wrap-ups just because I do read a lot of books over the course of a month typically, and by the end of the month, like, having to go through all of those again, first of all, it's a very long video, and racking my brain for names for books that I read 4 weeks ago and so many other books in between, it's just, it doesn't flow as nice as I'd like it to. I'd rather review them in a more succinct manner closer to when I read them. So I'm gonna start doing what I'm gonna call weekly vlogs, and I'm gonna try to literally vlog every book that I read. I don't know how that's gonna go. I may have to do an extra video at the end of the month that just talks about the books that I can't get into a vlog, but again, we're gonna see how that goes. But this is the first week that I'm gonna try doing that. So it is technically 2 days before the end of March. So it is the 30th, and the books I'm going to read now technically will count towards March. So they may be a little bit of a double up for the first 2 days of this vlog, but the rest of the week will just be reviewed and everything at the end of this week. So I know that's a lot of information nobody asked for, but I'm just letting you know that that's how I'm going to be moving forward with the channel for the time being. So I'm gonna be mood reading this week because I've been pretty well planning out my vlogs for the past 4 months, and there's a lot of books on my TBR for April that I'm just like very excited to get to, and none of them really in my mind bring up a specific type of vlog. There are a few, but like there's a good amount that I could just mood read through, and there's a few that I really want to get to right at the beginning of the month. So to start this vlog, we're gonna read a mood read because I have finished my TBR from the month of March. So I don't know exactly like what I'm gonna do the first few days. If I'm just gonna get through one book, if I'm gonna get through two. It is like 11 a.m. on Sunday, so I do have like a good chunk of my day today to do a lot of reading just because I have nothing going on today. It is a rainy, gloomy, nasty day outside, and I don't really have anything to do around the house either. So I can tell you what book we're going to start with, and then we'll just have to go from there for the rest of the week, which probably is kind of weird for me because this is not how I usually do my vlogs. I usually tell you all the books I'm going to read right at the beginning, but I don't know at this point what I'm going to do. So we're going to be starting with Breakaway by Grace Riley. This is the second book in the Beyond the Play series that she has. There's 4 books total. I read First Down, which is the first one, and then this is the second. I've had my eye on this book since I got it at the beginning of the year, the end of last year, and this is the one I had been seeing out of all of them most, and like in the stores and online and everything. So I've been wanting to read this. Hockey season is quickly approaching its end, and I wanted to get this in before the end of this season because the next book in this series is a baseball book, and I want to get to that because baseball just started a week or 2 ago. So I also have just been really reading a lot of fantasies this past week, and I want a spicy, like, no brain power romance right now. Like, that is what I want, and I think that's what this is going to give me. So we're going to start with Breakaway. This follows Cooper and Penny. Cooper is a pro-bound college athlete with a good time reputation, if I remember from the first book. Like, he and their adopted brother that are the same age, just like, they're playboys, they like to party. But he's been in a dry spell that feels more like a curse and is affecting his game. And the one thing that can't happen if he's going to make team captain eventually, the NHL. Enter Penny Ryder, coach's daughter, but the moment she pulls me into the ice rink closet, she's the one thing on my mind besides hockey. She has a sex bucket list, and each item on it confirms we're kindred spirits in the bedroom. If I say yes, I'll be relaxed on the ice again, but if her dad finds out, I'll be forced to say goodbye to being captain and finally earning my own father's approval. So Penny is recovering from an ex from hell and a long way from being ready for a relationship, but she wants to reclaim her agency with one long sought-after experience in bed at a time. So this is like one of those, you know, bucket list ones, I guess, because I remember when I was looking at the page count on this, the bucket list is actually like listed at the end, which is how I knew this was going to be a spicy book. So she goes after Cooper for an arrangement, secret friends with benefits, until he makes captain. So she crosses it, and I cross every item off my list in order to finally move on from the incident that ruined both my life and my figure skating career. So she is a figure skater. Didn't know that. Yet the longer their connection goes on, the more they trust each other and the less they want to say goodbye. It's a romance. We know what's going to happen. So I'm going to just cozy up and get through a lot of this today, hopefully, and I'll touch base later with some thoughts. Okay, update on Breakaway. I'm just over 200 pages in, which is just under 50% of the way through. And based on the content of the book and like what the book's about, like it got hot and heavy very fast, but like that's what I wanted right now, so I'm okay with that. But I don't know like what the second half of the book is because of just like what just happened. So their relationship, I wouldn't say relationship, their agreement started relatively early into the book. It was very quickly, like 50 pages in, we're talking, and it's just continued on. He's helping her experience things, and that then helps him like loosen up, and he's playing hockey better, and he wanted to be captain and everything. And it was supposed to be like a limited time thing. Obviously, that's how these things are in these books. But they both seemed to catch feelings like very early on. It wasn't like they both walked into it, it seemed, with no feelings whatsoever. So that was kind of different. I feel like sometimes these start and there's like definitely at least one of them that is just like absolutely not interested in anything at all, even though they say they're not. And like they say they're not and they actually aren't. But these two, it seemed a little bit different. It seemed like both of them really immediately liked each other, and it just kind of has flown pretty seamlessly into that. So it's just a spicy sports romance. She's also still trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. Something happened to her with her ex, and they have not explicitly said what it is yet, but it is her reason for wanting to do all of this and for being as like shy about all of the like physical parts of a relationship as she is. But we don't know what it is yet. I have a feeling I know what it is, or at least part of what it is, based on like a reaction she had to something he said when they were like out shopping, and some little hints and things that have been dropped. But I don't know. I think that's going to be a very emotional part of the book when she finally opens up about that. And I kind of wish we had a little bit more of her dad, because that's the whole like taboo part of it, is that he's her dad's he plays on her dad's hockey team, but he's been in it, just not like super frequently. And he doesn't know because they have to keep it a secret, but he hasn't been the typical like don't touch my daughter like kind of thing. So it's been a little bit different than I guess the typical tropes for something like this, with the whole like coach's daughter and the whole friends with benefits agreement situation. But I'm liking it so far. I did like First Down, so I was expecting to like this. It is just like hitting right for what I wanted in a book right now, so I think that's why I'm moving through pretty quick and I'm enjoying it. So I'm just gonna keep reading, and if I feel like I should update before the end, I will. If not, I'll talk to you when I'm done. All right, so I just finished Breakaway, and this was literally just straight spice, but again, because of the trope of the book, I was expecting that, and that's what I wanted, so I'm okay with that. It was just a very quick read. I did like the couple. They were cute. We did eventually find out what Penny was going through and like what happened to her when she was younger with her ex and everything that got her to be where she was, and I was right about it. Like they do drop enough, like Grace Riley drops enough hints that you can kind of figure it out, but they do clarify what happens pretty close to the end of the book, but and why she is the way she is, she reacts the way she does to some certain things. So I enjoyed it. It was what I needed at that moment in time. 5-star read? No. But it was a very enjoyable sports romance, which is what I wanted. And I wanted something spicy, and that's what I got. So I don't remember if First Down was as spicy as this one. And it wasn't that long ago that I read it either, so I don't know why I don't remember. But anyway, time to pick our next book. This is actually my TBR for April, but I still have another day of March left before April starts. So there is a book that I've been wanting to get to, and it's on my spring TBR, and I've been wanting to read it since I bought it last year. And it's one of those that like, I'm so excited to read it that I've been afraid to. It also starts a series, which I've been trying not to do, but it's a finished trilogy, so I can finish this trilogy once I start it. And I think I'm really going to like it based on other people that have said they really like it. So that's why I've been afraid to start it, because I don't know. We'll see. But it is A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden, the first book in the Sacred Stones trilogy. I don't know too much about it. I have read the back before, but I think I'm going to start it, and then when I come back to update, I will explain what the premise is based on what I've learned from reading it, rather than just reading the back of the book. So probably not going to get too far within it tonight, just because it's getting later, and I do have to go to work tomorrow. So I may start a little bit of it, we'll see, and then I'll update when I get home from work tomorrow and give you a little bit of a synopsis based on what I've read. Okay, everyone, it is Monday. And remember how I was like afraid to start this because I was like, I'm gonna be so obsessed with it. I'm just gonna want to read all 3. Yeah, I was right. So I'm about 40% of the way through, I think, maybe a little bit less than 40% of the way through. And the whole premise of this is that there's this like world where the lands are called like different gemstones essentially. And like the Onyx Kingdom is the biggest, like most powerful part of the kingdom. And the Onyx King is supposed to be this like terribly cruel, basically a jerk, leader. And he has declared war against the Amber Nation, and Arwen lives there. So Arwen's our main female character, and her kingdom is like is under attack, and everyone knows they're going to succumb to the Onyx Kingdom at some point. And you find out at the beginning that like her brother and this guy that she was like involved with but not really left 2 years ago to go fight in the war, and they don't know where they are. So towards the beginning, there becomes a point where like she and her family need to run, and something happens to her. She gets captured, and she ends up in the like Shadowfold, I think they call it, which is like one of the castles in the Onyx Kingdom. And she's in the prison there, and meets this like prisoner who she's like is like, she just talks about how like handsome and stuff he is, but like at the same time he's like devious and she doesn't trust him. And she's being used there for her like magical healing abilities. She has these like magical healing abilities that she doesn't even understand. She doesn't know where they came from, why she has them or anything, but like basically she can heal someone very quickly with her power. So they're using her, and they're like apothecary there, but she's trying to escape. So she has to try to like put her trust in this prisoner because the kingdom is surrounded by these like terrible dark woods that have these like creatures and stuff that could kill her. So that's kind of all I'm gonna say, because I already know things that I can't say that have happened, and we're only 40% of the way through the book. One of the biggest things, I think it's supposed to be pretty obvious, I saw coming, but it's, I think, her just trying to escape. I don't know if she's going to, but there's obviously a love interest, and it is a romantasy, but she's just trying to like make sure her family is in the best position possible, the ones that did get away without her, and that they know she's okay. Like that's all she cares about. Like she's basically trading her freedom to ensure that her family is safe. So that's all I know. The writing in this is just great. It's fast paced. There's like not too much world building, which is wonderful. It is more focused on like her specifically and like her powers, and then like her relationships with obviously the love interest, and then like other people in the castle that she's meeting. So interested to see where it goes. It's not a very long fantasy either, which is nice. And like I said earlier, it is a completed trilogy, which is always wonderful, but I'm excited to get through this. I don't know how further I'm gonna get tonight. I'm hoping to get pretty far. It's still kind of early, and I did like eat through like 100 pages of this in like very short amount of time before work today, and then I also read some at lunch. So I think I'm gonna get kind of far. I don't know that I'm gonna finish this tonight, but if I get close enough to the point where I think I'm going to be starting a new book at some point at work tomorrow, I will come back tonight and let you know what that book is, because I do know what book I'm gonna read next. But just depending on how far I get in this tonight will depend on if I check in again this evening or just wait till I come home tomorrow. So I will talk to you guys at some point. I am 99% sure that the end of this book is going to wreck me because of what just happened. I just know it's not going to end well. And I mean, it's the first book in a trilogy. It's not going to end well. And I know I'm going to want the next book, but I gotta wait. But anyway, I have like 100 pages left. I'm not going to irritate myself anymore tonight, and it is kind of late, so I am going to go to bed. But because I may finish this before work tomorrow, I'm going to take another book with me. So I am going to tell you now what the next book that I plan on reading is, and we'll see. If I get to it before I talk to you guys next, I get to it then. If not, we'll talk about it at another time. But after this, these are my April TBR books, because April is tomorrow. I'm going to read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I've been wanting to read this book since I knew it was coming out, and my sister had it when I got it because she wanted to read it, and now I have FOMO because everyone else is reading it. I have loved every book by Ali Hazelwood that I have read, which is everything except her novella collection. So I'm looking forward to this, and I will update you all tomorrow when I get home from work on how destroyed I am over this, because I know it's coming, and if I've made it anywhere in Deep End. It is Tuesday, And this morning before work, I did finish up Dawn of Onyx and loved this book. Cannot wait to see where it goes. The way that this ended was like not cool, but it ended enough that I can like wait until I get the other two books hopefully when I'm on vacation, or at least the next book when I'm on vacation. But I was not happy with how it ended because it made me very sad. But I hope, and I'm pretty optimistic that it's going to fix itself in the next two books. So really enjoyed this one. It definitely picked up pace in like the last 80 pages. There was a lot that happened and set the scene very well for the next book. So excited for that. And then I got about 40 pages into Deep End at lunch today, and I can tell this one's gonna be spicy, but I'm okay with that. So coming off of Breakaway, I'm hoping it's not too much. I have not ever not liked an Ali Hazelwood book. I have liked every single one of her books, and again, I think I mentioned this in the last clip. Other than this, the only thing I haven't read is her little Loath to Love You anthology of short stories. So don't disappoint me. And my sister really loved this, so I think I will like it. I don't know that I will love it because like her genre is spicy sports romance, but I do enjoy those as well. So we'll see how I feel when I'm done with this one. But I can just tell, I'm like, the way that the chapter that I just finished ended, if you've read this book, I just finished chapter 5. And like the last line of that chapter, I was like, wow. So we'll see. Gonna do some stuff around the house, and then I'm gonna read this tonight, and I'll just talk to you guys when I get home from work tomorrow with however far I have got. Okay, so it's Wednesday, and I think I have about 170 pages left in Deep End, and I want to finish this tonight because I am just like eating it up now. It started off a little slow. It started off in a way that I wasn't sure I was actually gonna like it. I thought it might be the first Ali Hazelwood book I didn't like. But as we got to know the characters and like as we developed their story, like I love Scarlett. I just like feel for her so badly because I feel like she just doesn't think anyone can love her, and that's how she's like dealing with a lot of things. And Lucas is trying so hard to show her that he cares, but he also doesn't know how to express himself very well. So like that's why there's a lot of like miscommunication there. But like he is showing her he loves her. Well, he hasn't said love yet, but he's showing her he cares about her. And it's like the little things he does, and like they never really made like an agreement. Like this wasn't exactly what I was expecting based on how some other people talked about it, and there was like a trope in here. There was an alleged trope in here that it is not in here in my opinion, that a lot of people were like hesitant to pick up the book for. And the way it started off made me a little uneasy, and I didn't think I'd like it, but I really am loving this now. I'm loving the characters. It's definitely a different type of story for Ali, and I'm really appreciating that. So I just want to like fly through this last 170 pages, and then I like want to pick it up again and read it, but I won't. I have other books to read, unfortunately. But I definitely can see myself rereading this one sooner rather than later, just because I am enjoying these characters so much, and I'm feeling like every time something happens and Scarlett like pulls back because she thinks that like he doesn't care, like she's just not a priority and they're just basically F buddies, like my heart just breaks for her because she doesn't see the little things, and I get that so much. But really cute book so far. It's spicy. It's definitely not like as bad as I thought it would be. Coming off of reading like Breakaway, I think that was spicier. So to each their own, I guess, but I'm enjoying it. Can't wait to finish it. And then once I finish that, we'll pick the next book. I'm between two, I think, that I want to read next. So mood reading is like not my thing. I am type A Capricorn. Like I need a list and I need to check it off and I need to do it in the order that it is. And that is why TBRs work so well for me. And like I plan out my months, but for some reason I just like could not figure out how to plan out this week. And looking at my list of books I want to read this month, I do kind of have in mind like the books that I'd like to try to read this week and the books I'd like to try to read next week and then the week before I go on vacation. But there's like a few that I would like to read this week. So like picking the next one there's too much wiggle room in my TBR, but that's just for me to deal with because of my OCD. So we'll talk later once I finish that, because we will definitely probably be picking another book tonight. Even if I don't start it tonight, I'm going to pick it tonight just so that y'all know what the next book I'm going to go into is. Just finished Deep End, and I'm not sure that it's like my highest rated I know what I'm giving it. I have to go back and look at like what the other books I've rated by her are, but this one definitely will stick out as a favorite. It mixed her like erotica novels, because I know like this and Not in Love are supposed to be like way more spicy, and I definitely liked this one more than Not in Love. I did like Not in Love though as well, but this blended that and her like STEM romances so perfectly, and also that like splash of sports romance. Like that was a big part of the book, but I don't think it took away from it. I think it just gave them a reason to bond and like to understand like her struggles and everything, because like Scarlett went through it. She had a lot of struggles from her childhood. She had a lot of struggles from like her diving career that she was dealing with, and it kind of, I think, led to her insecurities and everything that she dealt with during this, and her fears of it like failing. And the way that Allie dealt with that and explained it was so relatable and like perfectly done, and I just loved it. Like one of my favorite female characters that she has written, probably top 3. I'd have to really go back and think about it. I think eventually I'll probably read all of her books again to get that idea. I think of this kind of stuff, like her STEM novels, this and Not in Love, separately than I do like Check and Mate was a YA novel. I don't think of that with these. And then like Bride and Mate, they're not going to ever be compared to these books, but I've enjoyed every single book this woman has written. I love how she wrote Lucas. I loved that he didn't scream his love for her, and I liked that about it. Like it was the subtlety in which he showed that he cared about her that she didn't even realize, but like as a reader you're sitting there like, girl, he's telling you what he thinks and how he feels, and you're just not seeing it. But she had reasons for that, and I just think that the way that was written, and just like his personality and the way he just knew when to push her and when not to push her, it was just perfectly done. Like Lucas, excellent job, Allie. So for my next book, I think I was between Firefly Lane and A Man Called Ove, but I think I'm gonna go with A Man Called Ove just because it's shorter. It's getting towards the end of the work week, so I don't want to pick up like another 500-page book. And I just got a Kindle stand and a Kindle clicker, and this is on Kindle Unlimited, so I do want to like play around with that for the next day or so. And not a lot of the other books are that I have, so I don't know that I'm going to start this tonight. You won't know anyway, because by the time I see you tomorrow, I'll have read something after work. But so far, a very successful reading month, because of Dawn of Onyx and Deep End are the 2 books that I have finished so far in this month, and they were both phenomenal, highly rated books, spoiler, but this one might be too, so we'll see how I feel about A Man Called Ove tomorrow. Hey everyone, it's Thursday. I totally thought it was Wednesday when I was talking to someone earlier, so I'm happy it's Thursday because that means tomorrow's Friday. I'm only like 84 pages into A Man Called Ove. It's a short book, but there's like a lot of words on the pages, so it's not something I can like fly through. It's also literary fiction or just like regular fiction, so doesn't read as fast as like a romance, but I'm enjoying it so far. It is a little slow at the beginning, but I feel like that's how Britt Marie Was Here read for me, and then I ended up just like loving the second half of it, and it just like pulled everything together, and I think this is about to get to that point based on some stuff that's just happened and like some revelations that he's had. But we're really just following A Man Called Ove, and you get like current time, and then it kind of goes back and explains his story. But he's just like a curmudgeonly old man, and is dealing with the grief of losing his wife 6 months ago. Yeah, I think it was like 6 months ago from when you see him at the beginning, and just everything that comes with that, and like him being at the age where he's just like, what's the point, kind of. And it's just, I think this is gonna be very sad. I think it's going to be very enlightening. And I think it's going to be very similar to Britt Marie Was Here. And the whole, like, her going through losing her husband, divorcing, not, like, losing him, and having to basically reestablish her identity. Like, who is she without him? And I have a feeling this is going to possibly go down the same route as that, but I don't know. But so far, I'm enjoying it. It's just a little slow to start. But I think now that, based on what just happened and where his character is now, I think that it's going to start picking up, and like we're going to start turning a leaf for him. So I hope that means like the story's going to continue to just like move a little faster. So I'm going to be reading it on my Kindle because it is on Kindle Unlimited, and I just got like the Kindle stand and the Kindle clicker. and I loved it. I used it for like the first 2 chapters last night. I don't even think it was 2 chapters, but I love it. I'm gonna want to read everything on Kindle, even though I can't because not everything's on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm not waiting for library books to come up just to read them on my Kindle if I own the physical book. So, gonna continue reading this. I don't know that I'll finish it tonight. It really just depends on once I like lay down and start reading how tired I get. It's been one of those days, so it's possible that I won't get through much, but hoping to get through at least another like maybe 100 pages or so. It's only like 295 pages long, so we will see, but I will talk to you guys tomorrow on Friday. Very excited that it's Friday. Okay, so I just finished A Man Called Ove, and I think this is the last book I'm gonna do for this vlog. I was gonna try to read Firefly Lane as well, but timing wise I just don't want to have to rush it and then edit this video and everything, so I have other plans now for what I'm gonna go into next. But this vlog we're gonna be done. So we just read the 4 books and I'll go through them quickly. Not quickly because this is actually going to be replacing my monthly wrap-ups. So the first book I read was Breakaway by Grace Riley. This is the second book in the By the Play series. I cannot remember what this is called. Beyond the Play series. And this follows Cooper and Penny. Cooper is a hockey player. Penny is the daughter of his coach. And he really just wants to make captain, but he's been having some issues on the ice and everything. And he's also been having issues in like his personal life. And then Penny had something happen to her when she was younger that has made her like shy away from like physical aspects of relationships. So she has this like to-do list that she wants to accomplish, which are just basically physical things with other people that she thinks is going to help her get over what happened to her in her past. And she goes to Cooper and is like, can you help me with the first item? She only goes to him with the first item, and then from there it just kind of grows. Obviously their relationship is forbidden because she's the coach's daughter and he doesn't want to make the coach mad because he is trying to be captain and everything. So there are a lot of aspects to this. This was just a very spicy read, I would say. Like, if you don't like a lot of spice, I don't think I would read this because it did center on her, what did they call it? Bucket list, kind of, like her, it's just called The List, but it was like a bucket list. So it did center around the 10 items on that. So it was very spicy, but it still had a little bit of like a plot and like relationship aspects and everything, but I'd definitely say it was for like 80% spice and like 20% storyline, so just keep that in mind. I gave this 3.5 stars. Then I read A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. This is the first book in the Sacred Stones trilogy, and I loved this book. I loved the like relationship that we got. What are the names? Arwen and Cain. So we follow Arwen and Cain, and Arwen, it's really Arwen that we're following. She gets captured by guards from the Onyx King at the beginning of the book, when she and her family are actually trying to like escape to another land, and she is sent to basically the castle in the Onyx Kingdom, and she's trying to get out, and she's trying to like figure out exactly what they want from her. She has this like magical ability to heal people quickly, so they're using her for that, and they want to keep her there because of that. But she wants to escape, obviously wants to get back to her family. So she meets this like prisoner when she's down in the dungeon area and tries to convince him to help her get out. And that's all I'm really going to say, because anything that I go into deeper I think will ruin the book. But just going into this not knowing anything, I think was the best thing that I could do. I really enjoyed the like enemies to lovers that you get in this. This is an enemies to lovers romance, and the like fact that there was very little spice in this at all, but it was a fantastic fantasy romance because that tension was there, and the characters were just so well built, and the world is very unique. There's not like a ton of world building, which is nice, and I think that the like found family and everything that she gets when she goes to this castle, fortress, whatever you want to call it, I liked that part of it too. She does like make very good friends with some of the people, and I think that's going to come into play in the further book, in the next 2 books. I think it seems like it's going to set up for that. But I just loved this story, loved the writing in this, and just like the way the world was built. Definitely am excited to read the next 2 books. I don't own them yet. I'm going to try to buy them when I go on vacation. We'll see. But really enjoyed this one. 4.5 star read. Highly recommend if you like if you're a fantasy romance girl or boy, pick this one up. Then I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This is her newest release, and this is a college sports romance between a diver and a swimmer. We follow Scarlett and Luke throughout this, and again, Scarlett has some trust issues, like from her past. Like, she does have things that she's trying to get through, and then Lucas is what I would say, like, misunderstood. Like, he has a certain personality that maybe people just don't really understand. They think he doesn't care, but personally, I think that if you knew what to look for, you saw like how much he cares. He just doesn't show it in a very loud way. And I loved that about them, and I loved that like we could tell, at least like as a reader, I could tell just like how much he cared about Scarlett, even though everyone talked about how closed off he was and how like emotionless he was and all this stuff. And you kind of learn why. I mean, there's reasons for both of them being the way they are. It's a typical romance. That's a typical plot line of a romance, but it wasn't as spicy as I thought it was going to be. It was spicy, but compared to Breakaway, which I had read 2 books prior, it was not that bad. The relationship in this one, because I would say like this and Not in Love are her spiciest books, but this one had a better storyline, a better plot. It built a relationship better. Like, my heart hurt every time Scarlett like was like she got a little insecure about things and just like second guessed things, and I understand where she was coming from, and I think that's why I connected with like her feelings in those moments. And like, I don't know, like it was just very well done. And I know that like I think this book has been like hot or cold for people, but I definitely think this was my favorite, one of my top favorites. I don't know that it would be my favorite. If I had to pick a STEMinist one, I might pick a different one, but this had the aspects of that in it as well, because she was going for her pre-med degree and then applying to medical school and everything, so it still had that aspect of it in there, and like the perfectionism that her and Lucas both had, and like how much they cared about their future careers and their schooling and all of that. I enjoyed reading about that as well, because it wasn't just about sports for them. It was about figuring out what's going to make them happy. So I really did enjoy that. Another 4.5-star read. I wanted a spicy sports romance this week, and that is why I picked this one up. That's why I picked up Breakaway, and they just both hit very well, which could be why the next book maybe didn't hit as hard for me, and that was A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. I didn't not like this book. I just don't think I was in the right headspace for it, which is another reason why I don't want to immediately try to like force myself to go into Firefly Lane, because I want to like that book, and I don't think I'm in the right mindset at this day to go into a book like that. This one just kind of fell flat for me. Like, the ending was cute. The overall story, I did enjoy it, but it wasn't anything that like knocked me off, you know, like knocked my socks off or anything. So I think I was going in expecting a lot out of this, and I don't know if that was my expectations, or if I just like wasn't in the right headspace to be reading this right now, but there were definitely some deeper tones in this. It is about a man called Ove and how he's dealing with the grief of losing his wife, and that he's like a curmudgeonly old man, and why he is that way, and is he really that way? And like, I don't want to say really much more, because I didn't, again, know a lot going into this, and I don't think that knowing what I know now would have really affected any of that, but it is just kind of him accepting like grief and not giving up just because he doesn't have the love of his life anymore, which is what he really just wanted to do. So it was a very beautiful story, very good found family. Good character study, because you really do understand like why he comes off the way he is, but overall like he wasn't what everybody really thought at first glance. So did enjoy it. It was a very quick read. I didn't read too much of it yesterday. I probably could have finished it yesterday, but I was just tired and fell asleep. But Fredrik Backman's writing is pretty easy to digest, considering it's like literary fiction, like just regular fiction. I'm not really sure exactly what it's called, what he's considered, but I still enjoyed it, but I'm probably around like a 3.5, 3.75. I haven't really decided yet, because I just finished it like recently, but I still enjoyed it. I'm still gonna read more of his books, because I did like Britt Marie Was Here as well, and I don't even think those are the ones that everybody talks about, like Anxious People and the Beartown trilogy are what I'm really, really looking forward to reading, but I have like one other book I think by him too. So enjoyed it, but it definitely, I think maybe I went in with too high expectations for it, so, or I was just not in the right headspace. Not 100% sure at this point. Alright, so these are the 4 books we read this week. It was a fun mood reading vlog. I do like structure, and I didn't have that this week, which is also why I'm trying to structure my next vlog, because I just need that right now. I need to just know what the next book I'm going into is, or at least narrow it down. So, but I did enjoy just kind of getting to pick what I felt like reading, and I think it was a pretty successful week. I had 2 4.5-star reads, so that's always very good. But we'll see what the rest of the month brings. I think it was a pretty strong start to the month, so I'm looking forward to continuing in my readings. Obviously, let me know if you like this format better, just kind of me maybe going a little bit deeper into my reviews on these books and not doing a monthly wrap-up. I think that they just get to be too much. So I'm gonna try this for a few months, but let me know in the comments what you think about that. Let me know if you've read any of these books and your thoughts on them if you have. And I thank you all so much if you've made it this far in the video, and I really hope to see you all in the next one.